streaming.
So The Witcher's a real booby game.
Oh yes, a lot of titties.
Like
Those
A
Polacks.
lot of things to do, and it's very easy to like forget what the main quest is and end up
just staring at boobs.
Yeah. I mean, when side quests have
Just staring at
boobs,
boobs.
who needs the main quest?
True.
The sad but true fact for Witcher is that the first expansion probably has a better story than the main storyline.
Dashboard. We'll change that to 142. Update. In your
So
stream.
what kind of build have you
Yep.
been running in Witcher?
Oh, I just saw somebody streaming it. I've never played it.
Oh, I thought you were giving it a try.
No, I would never.
Too long. That's the only reason I haven't played it, is I don't have time for that.
Too long, too hard.
TLDR. Boobies. Boobies.
Boobies.
Okay, I'm good.
Hello, listeners. This is BarelyADS, a show where we shoot from the hip. I'm your host, Detective Ben Malone, and with me tonight is Xanafan711, and I make him quack.
Oh, hey.
What is up, my doggies?
Games. Anyway, if you didn't know, we stream this show live at twitch.tv/BarelyADS, apparently now on Sundays at about 10 or 10:30 Eastern, and that's God's time. The band of the week this week is brought to you by a movie about classical music. It stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, who said, when we asked who he's playing, "I'll be Bach."
All right. Classical jokes. I like it.
Yep. That band, of course, is Old State. You can find them at oldstate.bandcamp.com, and it's free, so pick it up for free or throw them a couple of bones, because on Bandcamp, if it says it's free, you can also give them money if you feel like it, which I always suggest. Some good mellow music. At least the first and the last track are pretty mellow and clean, and then the middle two, nice and chunky but still mellow.
Chunky.
Oh,
so.
chunky.
Chunky.
Sounds like me as a preteen.
Sounds like a Ben and Jerry's ice cream flavor.
Chunky and mellow. I like that. Hey, if you want your band on the show or anything such as emails, ads, game reviews, anything that makes this show better than it already is, I don't know how that could be, but send us an email to barelyadestinyshow@gmail.com. Get a hold of us on Twitter @barelyads, or go to our website, barelyads.com. And from there, you can join our Discord or head over to our YouTube channel where you can watch the video version of this podcast. And if you wouldn't mind, please go ahead and go over there and hit subscribe. Also, if you would like to support us financially, you can go to patreon.com/barelyads. And please, listeners, tell a friend about this podcast and get into that Discord. Notice today it's over 200 people in there, which is super weird.
That's pretty tight, dude.
Also, since I've been playing Destiny again, I've been talking to people in Discord and been reminded that, little inside joke here, but I am the Discord and clan god, and I am a merciful god. It's weird having a lot of admin rights over a ton of people, but I digress. If you wouldn't mind, please give us an iTunes review, 5 stars only.
Yep. We are a 5-star podcast, so it's required.
Yes.
Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already as well, because that does help with rankings and all of that jazz.
It does.
Exactly.
Gets us out there, gets more people listening. And I do believe that since Shadowkeep came out, we have gone through the usual spike in listeners. So if you're new to the show, thank you for listening, and I hope that you enjoy the shenanigans to follow. So let's get right into the meat and potatoes of this podcast, and that's the video games or games that we've been playing. I played some stuff this week.
Start it off.
Well, I'll start it off without games. I went to the skate park today, new skate park. It rained all day yesterday, so it was wet, but that didn't stop me from falling on my hip and hurting myself a little bit.
I was just gonna ask, did you bust your ass?
Yeah,
my hip.
water plus tires equals slide. It serves me right, though. I was riding a bowl that was marked as an area that you should not be riding, and there's a puddle in it, and I carved real hard, and my front tire slipped out and it fell. And then I talked to some kid who had never been to the skate park on a skateboard before, and I taught him how to do a trick on a skateboard, and that was pretty cool.
That's pretty neat, dude.
And then also somebody tried to break into my car at 9:30 in the morning in broad daylight in a, like, it's just an open area of concrete with the parking lot directly next to it. So I just saw somebody trying to open my car and I was like, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?" And then he left.
You didn't. You were on a bicycle. Why didn't you ride up and punch him?
Because why? If I can just yell at him and he'll walk away, then problem solved. And I don't have to punch anyone.
Is like roll up and do a really sick trick in front of him and then be like, what the fuck do you want? I mean, really know. Like,
just pick up my bike and hurl it at him. There's nothing like approximately 30 pounds of steel hitting you.
Yeah.
Catch this asshole.
He catches it and rides away. I'm like, God damn it.
Shit, that dude rolled really well on dexterity.
See, I knew bikes got stolen. I didn't know that's how it was. So that's what I played in real life. And also in real life, not digitally, I played a board game this week.
Oh.
It was called Wasteland, I think.
You think?
That's a weird name.
It Wasteland Survivor. I don't know. It's essentially everyone is a wasteland trucker, and you spend your time delivering resources and trying to accomplish goals. And the first person to accomplish 3 goals wins. So it was pretty fun.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, I would like to be able to play it again now that I know how to play it. But yeah, I mean, I could go into the weeds with the rules, but just look it up if you're into board games. Other than that, played some more Mario Odyssey with my wife. We're trying to clean up the rest of everything in that game, aside from buying all the outfits, because I don't feel like farming coins in Mario Odyssey. Especially because
you don't want to be walking loops for coins.
It's not even that. I found the coin farm, and you don't even have to use your left hand to farm. You just jump at the right time, and it'll get you like 180 coins every time you do it. But when most of the items left are 9,999 coins, it's a huge time sink.
Yeah, thanks.
So I did promise my wife I'll get enough coins to buy the skeleton outfit.
So you have to do it once.
I have to farm a ton one time.
Yeah.
So
that's just payback for when you made me farm Dead Orbit for you.
Yeah, that was pretty cool though.
I mean, that's what, only 500 farming runs? Well, 550 or something?
Yeah, no big deal. It only takes like 2 minutes to do it. And then I played Banner, but I'm sure we'll talk about that later. But I did pick up a new game today, and that is Untitled Goose Game.
Oh, yeah.
I've been goosing on people.
That's my Discord avatar is Goose Game.
Dude, that game is so much fun. And then, I don't know if you guys watch more console, but his running joke with the chicken where he's like, "You'll never catch me, you bastard." I've been like whispering that to myself the entire time I'm playing it, just running away from people. "You'll never catch me." So, yeah, that game is way more fun than it looks like. And I don't know, I like a good puzzle game. So that's what I was, before we started the podcast, I apologized for being late because I was dropping a bucket on a man's head. So, yeah.
I thought you were just playing Skyrim and trying to steal everything.
Same thing, only you're a goose.
Yeah, that's right.
I played that Skyrim mod.
I did
see someone modded the goose into the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Oh, did they? Instead of
Yeah.
Mr. X, it's just a goose chasing you?
Yes.
That's fantastic.
I think we may have talked about it on the podcast when I was playing Resident Evil 2, but on PC, somebody made the music when he chases you, the X gonna give it to you.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So good.
You don't want X to give it to you. Spoiler.
X gonna give it to you. Just like makes the game way less scary. Yeah, other than that, just Destiny. Oh, and I played some Pipe, but the BMX game. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. Aside from Destiny, which I'm sure we'll have a little discussion about, I played a little more Underlords. I'm getting ready to move up another rank, so that feels good. I'm getting to be consistently in the top 3. Also feels good, and it's something we'll talk a little bit more about later. But there's a anniversary for League of Legends, so I'm gonna give it another shake and see how that goes.
How much League have you played in the past?
Maybe like 2 hours.
So one match?
Damn.
So one match. Yeah, just barely a couple matches. And I didn't really know what was going on or what I was doing, so I feel like I should give it a shot. It is the most popular game on the planet, so
That is true.
Is that the one that Riot makes, or does Riot make Dota?
it's the one that Riot makes. Valve makes Dota.
Well, you support who you want to.
Yeah. I'm gonna try Dota 2 as well because I do really like Underlords. So it's the same people in those games.
I could never get into MOBAs.
Right.
Yeah, they're not quite my speed.
I like the
feel like-
shooties and the goosies.
Shooty goosies.
Right.
And as per usual, I've been playing a little bit of Rocket League. I'm kind of getting back into playing 1v1s because those are a lot more like ball control, small ball games as opposed to just trying to bang the fuck out of it every time you touch it.
Phrasing?
I'm going to hang these out there. You just got to go for them.
Justin, if you're listening, just, when you guys eventually get around to another one, there you go.
And then I had my weekly game of Dungeons and Dragons. So those are the games I've been playing besides Destiny, and I played a fair bit of Iron Banner.
When I was playing my board game, one of the guys I was playing with said that he built a tabletop game table, and he put basically just put an old TV in the middle of it, so that way they can like bring up maps on that and play on top of it. And I was like, that's pretty sweet.
That is pretty sweet. We just play on Roll20, so maps are generated that way, and you got icons for everything. But that works out pretty slick for an online group.
I never used maps.
Is digital D&D double D&D?
D&D?
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't like a nice set of double Ds?
Yeah. Triple Ds, in fact.
For sure.
Give them the D.
All right.
All right, so
Let's talk about the D that we've been giving people in the Crucible this week.
Destiny.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to not have finished my Iron Banner quest until Bungie was like, since this quest step is broken, we're just going to skip it. So I finished my submachine gun kills, and it was like, boom, done. I was like, oh, thank God, because I hated doing that stupid quest.
It was only 10 more submachine gun kills.
Yeah, but I'm not good with those. Well, actually, I was doing pretty good with the Buckleberry.
Yeah,
It's in a good spot.
Yeah. Still not as good as Recluse, which is apparently the most used gun in the Crucible right now. And not everyone has it, so that's really saying something.
See, that was hilarious because I was playing solo on Friday night, and that's when I finished my quest, and I had 5 buddies playing the Vex Offensive, and they finished that, and I was like, let's all play Banner. And I went from being on a 5 streak to getting relentlessly killed with the Recluse. And I was like, that's interesting because before we were playing as a 6 stack, no one had that gun. And then we joined up, and they were like, "No, you can't play with 6 people unless you want to play with the sweatiest dickheads that ever were."
I think there's something in the matchmaking where the more people in your party, the more likely it is to put you up against other stacks of people.
Yeah,
And it,
I still
it
think we should take in our skill
artificially
rating.
inflates your skill.
Yeah, we should still take into account the skill rating because we were all drinking and not coordinating whatsoever.
Yep. The best part is when Monster's screaming about people using Mountaintop and Recluse, and then and One-Eyed Mask, and I'm like, but that's what I'm using. He's like, yeah, but you're on my team.
Yeah.
The thing is that I don't think any of those 3 things are that horrendous on their own. Like One-Eyed Mask is annoying. Recluse certainly is strong once you get Master of Arms going. And Mountaintop is, I mean, as soon as you get killed by it once, you know that you can't play on the ground and you have to play a little more aerial game. You have to stay away from walls.
Yeah.
None of the things on their own is that bad, but the combination is so oppressive, especially when it's a 6 stack of people who are moderately good, because it just, the thing that bothers me the most is it feels like you get punished for your teammates' mistakes, because in a 1v1 you can generally duel any One-Eyed Mask person pretty well, but if they kill your teammate first, then they've got an overshield, they've got super fast TTK, and they're on just closing in on you already, and you're like, well, cool.
Yeah, because that's exactly it. You come in from above, and you hope the person you're aiming at shoots you once. You hit them with Mountaintop, and they die. And then you swap to your Recluse, and there's dudes ready to die right in front of you, and you've got Overshield and Master of Arms. It's kind of beautiful.
And if you add in Bottom Tree Striker Titan and Thunder Coil, you can also one-shot people with a melee.
Yep.
Just a standard melee. So you can then one-shot people out of their spawn animation.
This is assuming that your power level is not far below everyone else's, like mine.
That's true.
And I legitimately had a thing where I was in my super and did the shoulder charge, like the super shoulder charge, and it didn't kill them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what the hell is this? This is a one-hit kill. Countered that by doing... Well, and then I've found this beautiful counter because I am a shoulder charge pleb. I will just bash people with that. I just put on Prayer Green Greaves and was like, well, there's my bonus damage. Eat that one. That was the only way I could one-hit shoulder charge people in a banner. So I hadn't been playing Crucible until banner, and I am now actually looking forward to playing normal Crucible again. So that way I won't just be shit on the entire time.
Oh, yeah.
But I was doing pretty good until we joined up as a 6 stack, and I don't know if it's the combination of that matchmaking and also the fact that I haven't really drank in a couple months. And by the time we joined up as a 6 stack, I had crossed my threshold, and I was like, well, I can't hit anyone anymore. I actually just stopped playing. I was like, I'm sorry guys, I have to go because I can't hit anybody, and this is bad. I got 4 kills in 4 games.
Oof.
Yeah, and before that I was doing like 12 kills a game kind of stuff. So
what do you guys think about the new maps?
I mean, 2 of them are new, but they're old maps.
I love Twilight Gap.
I was never huge on Twilight Gap.
neither.
Outside of Trials, I thought it played well for 3v3, but I thought it was always a little chaotic for 6v6. And I've always kind of disliked how close A and C are on that map, because if you can hold both of those, you can really funnel them into a spawn and take advantage. That, and the fact that you can get, like, on your own, you can get to the other team's first flag before they've been able to cap it, and so you can just pull off crazy shenanigans that way is not my favorite kind of thing, but that's all right.
I just love B, how you're capping B and then someone stands on that overlook and is like, I'm gonna get you, and you're like, you're really not. Every time you do this, I'm just gonna kind of hide a little bit or run around and shoulder charge you.
B's a nice spot.
It's I don't know. How about that Telesto, guys?
Oh yeah, removed from the game because you could get your super immediately.
Did you
Or
guys play anyone using it?
No,
no, I don't think
actually.
so. I mean, I played people that were doing the spam the fire with Telesto, and that was pretty fun.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because I had seen it in a video, and then the first time I died to it, I was like, well, I know how to stop dying. And then I also did that to a few people.
I've played against a few people who were doing the Telesto get glitch, and it was like you could really tell because one guy I think had 6 or 7 supers in a match, which was funny because he still couldn't even top out the leaderboard on his team. I was like,
Oh god.
dude, just
Yeah.
play the game.
Just having too much, spending too much time trying to get his super.
I know, and
Yeah.
it's just things like that where I think it's better that it got disabled. Honestly,
Yeah. Sorry about it, Gator.
You live and you learn.
it's funny to me that Telesto has been at the heart of so many problems in Destiny 2's life cycle since it's come back.
Yeah.
I
It's
love
The
that
those
gun.
orbs that they. I want to say it's probably because they use the same animation with just a different color as orbs.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Or I think, and it's something about how they register as hostile to you
Hmm.
because, like with Blind Well, you could just spam it on the ground, and each one that popped registered as killing an enemy. And then that's what it's registering as with the grenade throw for this time. And then you could, if you killed yourself in the gauntlet in Menagerie with it, it would count for a bunch of points over and over and over.
You think whoever was in charge of bringing it over to Destiny 2 had one of the developers just come up to his desk and be like, or their desk, I have no idea if it's a man, but just be like, dude, come on. Like, again?
Excuse me, this is horrendous.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Other than that, I didn't play any Destiny other than Banner because I wanted to finish that quest, and then I had other things going on.
Yeah.
And did you guys just play on Titan, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
I don't have anything but a Titan.
I, I've done it. I've done it twice now, and then tonight and tomorrow I'll finish up Titan, and I'll knock out all 3 classes on Banner this week.
I need to level up my other classes by doing the like buy armor thing before Bungie is like, all right, we're gonna patch that out.
Oh yeah, that goes super quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure I can get them up past 900, but the longer I wait, the more likely it is to get patched out, but also the higher power they'll end up being. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Quack, when you hop on, I'm gonna jump on with you and follow you around because I'm working on scout rifle kills.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah. Just follow from like 30 feet behind and pop people.
So y'all want to get into some news, unless you have more Destiny to talk about.
No, that's all I've got.
Yeah, that's it.
News
Let's
time.
do it.
1, 2, 3. The news.
All right. We're going to talk more about Blizzard because they're still in the news. All right. U.S. Hearthstone player banned for Hong Kong protest from Brennan Sinclair at GamesIndustry.biz. Blizzard issued a 6-month ban to a group of 3 American university students who held up a sign that said, quote, "Free Hong Kong, boycott Blizz" during the Hearthstone Collegiate Championship last week. Blizzard's reasoning is that the 3 players, Giant Dwarf, T-Jammer, and Excelsior, were in violation of the Hearthstone Collegiate Championship rules for engaging in behavior disruptive to the official esports broadcast. And the official rule reads as follows: participants shall treat all individuals watching or participating in a TSPA event with respect. Participants may not take any action or perform any gesture directed at another participant, TESPA admin, or any other party, or incite others to do the same, which is abusive, insulting, mocking, or disruptive. Players may not use obscene gestures or profanity in their account names, player handles, team names, game chat, lobby chat, or live interviews. This includes abbreviations and or obscure references. The 3 players held up the sign at the end of a match without any additional comment.
Before we discuss this, I think that we should read this next Blizzard story and kind of lump these
Yeah,
two together.
they do go together. All right, so that was in response to Blitzchung getting banned, which we talked about last week, and now U.S. legislators they've written to Blizzard on the subject. The story's called "Blitzchung ban could have quote chilling effect on free speech" from Rebecca Valentine at GamesIndustry.biz. So, a bipartisan group of U.S. legislators wrote a letter to Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick in order to ask him to reconsider the decision to temporarily ban the Hearthstone player in response to his support of protests in Hong Kong. The letter was authored by Senators Ron Wyden, Democrat, and Mark Rubio, Republican, as well as Congresspeople Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat, Michael Gallagher, Republican, and Tom Malinowski, Democrat, in order to express concern, quote, in light of the Chinese government's growing appetite for pressuring American businesses to help stifle free speech. Even though the letter references the ban on Blitzchung that was lessened a week ago after backlash from U.S. senators, online communities, Blizzard employees, fellow pro Hearthstone players, and casters, the spirit of the letter is still important. There's a quick little aside here. There's another sub-story. Blizzard employees staged a walkout over the ban from Andy Chalk at PC Gamer. 10 to 30 employees throughout the day walked out in solidarity with Blitzchung in Hong Kong. They met outside at the famed orc statue, in which employees celebrate with a champagne toast whenever a game ships. And engraved in the statue are Blizzard's core values, two of which the employees that walked out covered up. And the two parts they covered up say, "Think globally," and "Every voice matters." Okay, so back to the letter. Quote, "Because your company is such a pillar of the gaming industry, your disappointing decision could have a chilling effect on gamers who seek to use their platform to promote human rights and basic freedoms. Indeed, many gamers around the world have taken notice of your company's actions, understandably calling for boycotts of Activision Blizzard gaming sites. As China amplifies its campaign of intimidation, you and your company must decide whether to look beyond the bottom line and promote American values like freedom of speech and thought, or to give in to Beijing's demands in order to preserve market access. We urge you in the strongest terms to reconsider your decision with respect to Mr. Chung. You have the opportunity to reverse course. We urge you to take it."
All right. So all of this ties together. I think if this really gets to you, if what Blizzard did does indeed make you angry, BlizzCon is coming up. So obviously Blizzard, Activision, I don't think is going to act morally over monetarily. So the way that we can force them, or try to force them to act morally instead of monetarily, is to hurt them monetarily. So that being said, I am sure that some things are going to be announced at BlizzCon. I would say that I probably will not be talking about whatever gets announced at BlizzCon, because until they decide to stop being assholes. And I will no longer be like, if Diablo 4 comes out or something like that, I'm not going to buy anything that has to do with Blizzard.
Right. I've stopped playing Overwatch. I'll probably be downloading Paladins to get my hero shooter fix again. And it's going to be consistent. I mean, sure, they lessened the blow, but he's still banned for 6 months. And to ban 3 American students for just exercising their right to free speech in a friendly and nonviolent manner is also ridiculous. Are you serious?
I know one of the things that we had talked about on this podcast is that we don't want to get into politics, but I think when it comes to politics tied into video games, that's kind of an exception that I'm willing to make.
Politics tied into video games in regard to basic human rights.
Yeah. This and I understand if this if you're like, well, this doesn't bother me and I am not going to stop playing Blizzard games. Don't let us tell you what to do.
Right.
This is a decision that listeners you need to make for yourself. But I guess I just wanted to make it clear that where I at least am standing on this is that I am not okay with what is happening. And the like it says could have a chilling effect on free speech. I do think that there's a violation of that going on. So
And you see the difference here between China and what we're doing in America, where these senators reached out and they are urging. They're not saying you have to do it. They're not saying, that they've necessarily made the wrong call. They're insinuating that they made the wrong call, but they're leaving the decision up to Activision Blizzard and just saying like, you have an opportunity here to promote freedom in a place where there isn't freedom, and you are denying that from people by your actions. So please reconsider. So I really appreciate that these legislators have jumped in that regard, and in you can't argue with their verbiage in that letter. I do also want to throw in as well that Blizzard has come out twice now to say that their actions had nothing to do with their interest in China, and I just think that's a load of crap.
yeah, disagree.
Yeah. What do you got, Quack?
So I 100% agree that Blizzard is in the wrong here. But the thing that this makes me want to bring up is just a couple reactions and just the way that Blizzard's going to talk about this. So from Blizzard's point of view, what they're going to say is, we already made this decision, we already crossed this road, and now they have to be consistent on it, or otherwise none of their rules mean anything, right?
Right.
And from the quote you read, one of the things is that it can't take any action or perform at, and what it will be going towards here is any other party, which is abusive, insulting, mocking, or disruptive. And they're going to use that disruptive language to say that it is disruptive in China or in Hong Kong. And so these actions are disruptive. And I will say that the U.S. senators bringing this up brings up a, in America, lawsuit which is open right now between Colin Kaepernick and the NFL. This is not something that is unique to China, and the idea of using money and influence to influence what happens in companies or in people across the world is not something that's unique to China either. And in all of those cases, all of those things are very wrong because it's an abuse of power and it's abuse of a monetary system, generally against people who are underprivileged.
Yeah. And you can tell in the rules for the Blizzard's esports, it's very vague, which is done on purpose so they can make these kinds of judgment calls, because that's all it is. It's a judgment call on what do you decide is disruptive and to whom.
Yeah, exactly. It's all a question of what they want to enforce, because anything is disruptive. If you win a match at a LAN and then you run into the crowd to celebrate, is that disruptive? You're disrupting the post-game interview. You're disrupting the entire event to go dance around in the crowd. But I don't think people would get banned for that if they did it, because it'd be exciting and fun.
Right.
But if it's a stance on something that you think is morally reprehensible, then all of a sudden it is disruptive.
Yeah. So I mean, good things to come out of this entire situation. Basically, awareness for people who may not have known what was going on in Hong Kong. That is a positive, and I think that it does. If we take a step back, it does bring up a point of where you're going to draw your own personal lines for stuff like this. Mm-hmm. So like I said earlier, we we encourage you to make your own decisions about what you would like to do about this. Maybe it's nothing, maybe it's something, and you know what, that's on you. Please respect our decisions as well to do whatever we feel is right in this situation. All right, let's move on.
Okay, moving on to something that's still not great.
Out of the frying pan and into the fire, baby. Let's
Yep.
go.
All right, Ninja streams a game with a woman. World doesn't end. From Cecilia D'Anastasio at Kotaku.
Are you sure? I think I see a meteor outside.
Coming.
It's all coming down around us.
Oh yeah, I saw that meteor created a black hole and Fortnite ended.
Yep.
And then Fortnite 2 started.
Indeed. So Ninja was criticized about 14 months ago for telling Polygon, quote, "I don't play with female gamers." And this was because he didn't want to put his wife through, quote, through that being claims of flirting or possibly worse, to use Ninja's words. Well, on Wednesday, the controversy resurfaced when Lady Gaga asked via Twitter who Ninja was.
Okay,
And
do you know why she asked who Ninja was? She's been playing Bayonetta,
yes,
and somebody's like, "You should play Fortnite," and she goes, "What's Fortnite?"
and she
and then-
spelled it wrong.
Yeah.
It was great.
And then
About 14 days.
Ninja, I like that. Ninja responded by saying, "Give me a call." I'm paraphrasing. He basically was like, "Give me a call and I'll show you what it is." And
So
then
he's trying to promote himself through Lady Gaga.
yeah, and then she goes, "Who are you, Ninja?" And he said, "Ask Drake." Which, as much as I don't really care for Ninja, that was a good comeback.
It was. It was. All right. So Ninja defended himself on Twitter, and he was responded to by another streamer, Caseytron Cavaniss, that he is, quote, "one of the most popular streamers on the internet, and he doesn't support women, as he publicly announced he will never duo stream with any woman." And then Caseytron was met with a massive insults of the horrible variety from Ninja's fans in defense of her comment. And it turned out to not be so true of a statement, because Ninja has streamed in the last 14 months with a couple females. One is a popular 13-year-old streamer named Ewok, and he also streamed with Ellen.
Yeah. That's a whole other thing. I won't get into my feelings on Ellen.
So Ninja's fans referenced a few other streamers who he's played with, but it turns out that most of them they were just matched up with naturally through the matchmaking process. So I guess he'll stream with you if you are good enough to help his brand and help him promote his channel. But if not, then you're cheat bait.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, y'all.
Yeah, I saw that he responded when somebody, I don't know if it was Casatron, because when I was reading it, it was somebody who was not verified or anything, so I don't remember who it was, but they were basically brought up to like, "Hey, didn't you say that you weren't going to play with women?" And he kind of denied it, that he ever said that. He was like, "I like how people take an interview from years ago, and they're like, I like how 14 months ago is years."
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, he was basically saying that they took something out of context, and I was like,
I don't think so.
That's really out of context.
Yeah, when the incident happened, he defended his stance.
That being said,
down.
Ninja's wife, are you afraid he's cheating on you with Lady Gaga? There you go, Ninja. That's what you're afraid of? Jesus Christ, you idiot. I would also like to reiterate that these are our opinions, and if you have a different opinion, that's fine.
Right.
Then there's a few hot takes on this one.
Say is it's parody.
Yes.
We're parodying someone who would have that opinion.
Yes, this is South Park.
The whole situation is just really cringy.
Yeah. Sometimes we got to report the bad news too, everybody.
Yeah.
The only thing I can say is someone coming out and saying, "Hey, this person doesn't play with women because they're sexist," being met with a horde of 13-year-olds screaming out sexist things. That's like hashtag just gamer things.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Like I read some of the responses because I saw this like unfolding as it was happening a little bit on
Yeah.
Twitter. Dear God, they were horrific.
Well, that's what
Like
13-year-olds do. They don't
it
they don't
was
know yet.
it was absolutely disgusting.
And the sad thing about the internet is that this stuff, once it's on the internet, it doesn't go away. So if you are a person who likes to put real hot takes on the internet or say extremely offensive things, it doesn't go away, everybody.
It's not the hot take that's the problem. You can have hot takes on the internet and do it respectfully. It's the way, like the verbiage you
Yeah.
use and the targeting, things like that. Like Bones from Crucible Radio is only hot takes, and he does it. He doesn't like. Of course, people are going to disagree with him and argue with him, but he's not most of the time not being a dick about it. He just has a strange opinion that he's sharing.
That being said,
You can
Bones, if
be
you ever want to come
poignant
on the
without
show,
being offensive.
or you're welcome to come. I would very much enjoy to speak with you.
What's that, Quack?
You can be poignant without being offensive. It is
Yep.
not hard.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Jesus
All right,
Christ.
let's move on.
Speaking of voting with your wallet,
This is not a bad news story necessarily.
No,
Well,
this one I'm actually pretty excited about.
Yeah. Riot Games makes more than just League of Legends now. This from Julie Muncie at Wired. So I got interested in this a little bit because I hopped on Netflix to find something to fall asleep to last night, and there's a League of Legends documentary about how it started and all this stuff. I was like, oh, okay, interesting. And it seems like the two creators of Riot are decent dudes that just really like video games. So we've reported in the past about how cringy things were in the culture at Riot. It doesn't seem like it's because of these two. I also don't think that they really work at Riot anymore. They just kind of are figureheads at this point. But anyway, so it's about the rise of League of Legends, which is the most popular game in the world. It has 1 million concurrent players, and that is just over 1% of the global population. So I looked into it a little further, and all of this is going on because they're celebrating 10 years of League of Legends right now.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to what I mentioned, the documentary coming out is part of it. They announced like 7 games that are coming out. And it's not really true that Riot only makes League of Legends. They also make Teamfight Tactics, but that's kind of very similar to League of Legends. So here's what's coming from Riot. Project L is a fighting game, no release date yet. And I believe I heard on Easy Allies that it is being worked on by an old Street Fighter developer. It's a big name in the fighting game development community.
I'm not sure off the top of my head, but a fact about this one takes place in the League of Legends universe, like that same world.
Yes.
We'll be using probably Legends from League, which has like 140, so pretty good chance that they've got a lot of things to pick from.
Yeah, definitely. And I do know the guy that's working on it also worked on the PlayStation's attempt to copy Smash Brothers, PlayStation All-Star Royale or something like that.
Yep.
Okay, so the next one is called Project A, and it's a tactical multiplayer first-person shooter. Think more like Rainbow Six Siege than Overwatch, and this one does not take place in the League of Legends universe. It takes place in Future Earth.
It does not, but it does have. It is a hero-based shooter that has abilities.
Hero shooter. Mm-hmm.
And something about this, the person who's in charge of this game was one of the main map makers for Counter-Strike.
Oh, okay. So this is all of these things seem like they have esports in mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the most part.
Riot's got League of Legends and one of the biggest esports production teams and all of that. This is going to be like when they come out, they're going to come out esport ready day one.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, it would be a shock if they came out with games that are not set up to be consumed by a ton of people and also shown in a competitive format for a lot of people.
Right. And to put that in perspective, Riot has sold out the giant Country Arena in South Korea,
Hmm.
as well as the Staples Center, which holds 40,000 people.
Yep.
Okay, next one. And this was interesting. I don't think this one is going to be an esports game, but it involves esports. It's called Esports Manager.
Hmm.
So similar to like like an NFL, like a Madden franchise manager or NBA 2K franchise manager thing, but
Football
for
Manager is huge in Europe.
but for an esports team. And neither of the first two games we talked about have a release date yet, but this one is coming out next year.
And
Then,
these are super popular. Like,
oh
I
yeah,
feel like they're a little less popular in American audiences, but a lot of friends I've met through other games that live in the like in Europe or even in China, like Football Manager type games where you're managing a team and doing all of the like basically, I mean, it's not a spreadsheet, but it's kind of like spreadsheet work that rewards you. People go nuts and play tons of hours of them.
yeah. Something interesting about this too is, say you pick, I don't know, the North American League team, and that's the team you're managing.
Mm-hmm.
That team gets a cut of the royalties because you're playing that team in their game.
Yep.
So like real money is going to be exchanged based on what team you pick and manage.
Yep.
And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it for that one. The next one is a card game, and it's already out in early access called League of Legends Runeterra. It's think Magic Arena meets Hearthstone.
Yep.
So if you want to boycott Blizzard, play this instead.
I think it's
play Slay the
Hearthstone.
Spire.
Yeah,
I'm fairly certain it's Hearthstone.
Hearthstone, same thing.
Also, Slay the Spire. If you haven't played that one, it's on Steam and it's usually on a decent sale. It is a ton of fun. Very different, less like tactical, less traditional card game. It's more of like a combination of a roguelite and a card game.
Okay. This one's going to be a more classic card game with one thing that's different is that instead of just taking turns and being able to do, say, like it's your turn, you can make moves, or you have to only be able to react to the other things. It's each round, one player's on offense and the other player's on defense, and then they swap. So you're going to have defensive abilities if you're on defense and offensive abilities if you're on offense. So that's pretty unique.
That is pretty neat.
They are going to use the wild card functionality that's in Magic Arena as well. So you can play completely for free and still get the cards that you need with those wild cards.
I may try that out.
Yeah. And then the last one is called Project F. And there's not really anything we know about this except that it's a social game in which you and your friends can explore Runeterra.
So this sounds like
an MMO.
An MMO of some sort.
Yeah.
League of Legends Destiny edition, basically.
Right. Oh, and since it's coming from Riot, all of these are probably going to be free to play.
So, assuming they're not free to play, I need to look into the resolutions for the issues that Riot has had over the past few months. Because as we mentioned with Blizzard and voting with your wallet, this is another company that I do not wish to support if they are still up to their shenanigans that they've been up to.
Right, mistreating their employees. I know they hired some people to work on their culture. Whether or not it's been effective, I can't say.
Yeah, so I will be looking into the resolution of those things, and hopefully they have been resolved, because we would always like for there to not be a toxic work environment anywhere.
Yeah.
And exactly. Something to note, though it doesn't change the overall culture, I believe a couple of these projects are headed up and are women-led teams. So it may be that there's still that environment, but it seems as if that particular project may be like in any big work environment, you're going to experience more in your direct team rather than the overarching company structure, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it could be that in any of these projects, it's different than it is in the league team or in whatever other team. So it's hard to know, and it's hard to, without a ton of transparency, know how those kinds of things have progressed or regressed at any point in time, you know?
Well, I really hope that things have improved. Because if so, I will be proud of Riot for being able to turn that monster of a ship around.
Yeah, some of these games look like they could be cool, so it'd be nice to be able to play them
Guilt-free.
Yeah.
Guilt-free gaming is my new podcast where we just talk about Blizzard and Riot the whole time. You can find it on our Patreon.
Oh, geez. All right, last story, and this one is sad, but still kind of fun.
It's a fun one to do.
All right. So if you believe in the Madden curse, it just dislocated Patrick Mahomes' knee, from Luke Plunkett at Kotaku. Although Plunkett wrote years ago about how this isn't actually true, it seemed as though the curse had struck again as the Chiefs quarterback dislocated his knee against the Broncos on Thursday night. Although not through injury, Antonio Brown is not currently playing after being on the cover in 2019 and being released from several teams this year, as well as being accused of rape and caught sending threatening messages to another person who had accused him of sexual assault.
Take it back. The story's not fun.
Well, the rest, that's only
We're
half
off to
of
a
the
great start here. No, this is a fun story, so let's talk about the rapes and the sexual assaults.
Jeez, but Mahomes should be back. I guess they popped his patella back into place on the field.
Oh.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
Jeez and Pete's. No, thank you.
So, but I was curious, so I dug into this a little bit more, and I found another article called "The History of the Madden Curse" from Stephen Pettit and Rick Marshall at Digital Trends. Madden has been going on for 25 years now, and since Garrison Hurst broke his ankle in 1998 after starring on the cover of Madden 99, most of the players who have graced the cover have suffered an injury in the following season. 16 out of 22 players have had, quote, troubling or abruptly shortened seasons following their cover debut, including several season-ending injuries. So I went through and I wrote down all the times that it could be potentially blamed to the Madden curse. So in reverse order, starting with most recent to the past, Madden 2017. So 2018, whoever was on the cover, he's fine. Gronkowski missed the first 2 games of the 2016 season, didn't start until week 5, and then in week 11 suffered a pulmonary contusion. 3 years before that, so there were 2 years with no Madden curse. Madden 14, Adrian Peterson had a nagging foot injury, and then he retired. Madden 12, so there's one other year where no curse. Peyton Hillis had strep throat and injured his hamstring, which caused him to miss a bunch of games. Madden 11, Drew Brees didn't have any injuries, but played like complete garbage that season, and he threw 2 times as many interceptions as he had in previous years. Madden 2010, Larry Fitzgerald and Troy Polamalu were both on the cover. Fitzgerald didn't really have any issues, but he missed the Pro Bowl due to a rib injury. But Polamalu, on the other hand, sprained his MCL and missed 4 games, and then later injured his posterior cruciate ligament and missed the playoffs. Madden 2009, Brett Favre. He's in Packers garb on the cover, and he retired and then didn't retire and played for the Jets. And then he injured his right shoulder late in the season, and he didn't play the same for the next 3 years, and then he retired for real. Madden 08, Vince Young injured his quad in week 6, missed a game, then re-injured himself in the final game of the season. Madden 07, Sean Alexander broke his foot in week 3 and then fractured a wrist, sprained a knee, and sprained an ankle. Madden 06, Donovan McNabb had a groin injury and then tore his ACL. Madden 05, Ray Lewis had no interceptions for the first time in his career and then tore his right hamstring. Madden 2004, Michael Vick fractured his right fibula. Madden 2003, Marshall Faulk, he just sucked that year, and then 4 years later missed the whole season for knee surgery and just never came back to the NFL. Madden 2002, Dante Culpepper had a knee injury and was out for the rest of the season. Madden 2001, Eddie George. All seasons, the Titans dominated, only for George to bobble a pass late in the playoff game, which was very unlike him, causing the team to be eliminated. Madden 2000, Barry Sanders and Dorsey Levens. So it was originally supposed to be just Barry Sanders on the cover, and then he retired. So they put Levens on there as well, and then he had a nagging injury and then got cut the next year. And then, as we stated at the beginning, Madden 99, the first year that they put players on the cover, Garrison Hurst broke his ankle.
So there was 14 straight years of some sort of shenanigans happening from 99 to 2012 before getting a single off year. That's just incredible.
Yeah.
So I want to shout out Luke Plunkett. How can you write an article saying that there is no Madden curse?
That sounds pretty cursed to me, dude.
Yep. One of them's a Browns player.
I wonder if there's kids out there playing Madden who are like, why do they call it Madden?
Probably.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. Well,
Your dad's got to
anything?
ask your dad. I mean,
There was
that sucks.
Some weird guy scared to fly.
Anything on the curse?
Curse is real, man.
That's just crazy. Like, to go back and hear every single one, it's nuts.
It's ridiculous.
Moon's haunted, and so is the NFL.
Right.
That's
All
pretty
right.
scary.
Let's get to these listener questions.
Listener questions.
1, 2, 3.
Alrighty, this week's listener questions are brought to you by Cosmodrome Vodka Pandorian Nostalgic Vodka. Did you know that the green portal on Earth's moon next to Eris Morn doesn't just lead to the pyramid ship? If you run through it while tromboning, then you'll actually find yourself on the planet Pandora. We took the local flora from that planet and combined it with the nostalgic engrams we've been accumulating. Useless, we tell you, and tried to create a new vodka flavor that satisfies everyone's gearboxes and bungee cords. Unfortunately, science isn't exact, and a very specific element needed for distillation was left out, which is symbolized by That element, of course, is the element of surprise. Needless to say, Pandorian Nostalgic Vodka is a work in progress that, as of now, only causes British men living in Japan to release toxic gas while recording podcast episodes. Who knew that such a vodka could differentiate between humans of different cultural backgrounds? So, until this project is completed, please enjoy our other products, whose name we've completely forgotten over time by use of the code #FuckBoyPaul at local delis and supermarkets to receive 19% off individual bottles of vodka. And now, let's answer some listener questions.
Good for Cosmodrome Vodka that they're in delis now.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know how many delis have liquor licenses, but
I can't say that I've ever been to one, honestly.
There's got to be that in New York and LA.
Yeah.
Come get some pastrami and get wasted. It's hip.
I would do that, like some nice spicy mustard, a pastrami, and a couple shots of vodka.
Cosmodrome Vodka.
Cosmodrome vodka, of course.
That's all I drink.
Only the best around here.
it's not really a deli, but there is a sandwich restaurant / bar in Akron.
Oh.
It's close, I guess.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of places that sell sandwiches also sell liquor.
All right.
All right. Well, our first question comes to us from Mitch, whose question is, for Titans, what's your favorite flavor of crayon?
I don't eat crayons.
No, me neither. Don't get it.
I'd have to inquire, though, Mitch. Do you eat crayons? Are you curious for recommendations? Huh. I'm curious. Anyway, Goose wants to know, what's your favorite flavor of Canyon? I don't know what that means.
Great a flavor?
Greek? I don't know.
Grand
I'm gonna go with
Canyon?
red.
Red?
Red Canyon.
I didn't know red was a flavor.
I didn't know canyons were flavored either. But
Well, I mean, I'm sure they've got some flavors. Probably just
Probably.
dirt, rock.
Actually, there's
dust.
a lot of aloe in the Red Rock Canyon. We'll go with aloe.
Oh, there you go. That's not a great flavor, honestly.
And
Aloe.
It's a flavor.
That is a flavor.
agave. There's agave too.
Oh, I'd be down with agave flavored canyons.
Yeah. All right.
Bit of a big meal to have, but anyway.
Motorcycle jumping canyons. That's my favorite flavor.
I think that's any canyon as long as you have a fast enough motorcycle.
And a cape.
Yes.
And a cape. And probably a ramp, too.
Yes.
Our next question comes from Nar. Funk or disco?
Funk.
Funk for sure.
Disco's dead, baby.
It's funk. It's always been funk.
Yeah. I actually owned Pure Funk. You know that infomercial in the early 2000s?
Yep.
That was a great album.
I don't doubt that. I'm sure it was pure funk.
It was. Had Brick House on it. Love that song.
Grumpy Dumpsy's in chat wants to know, if you had a mullet, what would you name it?
I'm going to have to think this one over, so I'll name it over.
Oh,
I'll have to mull it over.
that was good.
Oh god. I'm gonna name mine Jose Dirte.
I don't have an answer for this. Your mom? I don't know.
Your mom?
I got nothing for that. I'm sorry to let down that train of good responses.
Wow.
We've got a follow-up from Grumpy. If you whip your mullet around, does it really sound like Sweet Home Alabama?
No, it sounds like the Willow Smith song, I Whip My Hair Back and Forth.
Are you sure it doesn't sound like Cut the Mullet by, what was his name? Do you remember?
Wesley Willis.
Wesley Willis, yes. Also known for such great hits like Ford Windstar.
Oh. I think around here, if you whip a mullet around, it just sounds like a day in the trailer park.
I was going to say maybe it could sound like Country Road.
Here are some choice lines from the song Cut the Mullet. Do something about your long, filthy hair. It looks like a rat's nest. Get out the hair, clippers jerk. Tell the barber you're sick of looking like an asshole. Get that crazy ass mother off your skull. And nobody wants to look at you with that mullet on your head. Why don't you cut that mullet, you numbskull? They're sick of looking at your nappy wheat sack.
I can't wait to hear what he says when he stops pulling punches.
The mullet is the reason why people hate you. I think my favorite of that is tell the barber you're sick of looking like an asshole.
I don't think a barber can change my face, if I'm being honest.
Oof. Self-burn. Good thing you got some aloe behind you.
I do.
See,
Ready to go. Break one of the leaves off and rubber.
listeners, this is why you need to go to our YouTube channel, hit subscribe, and watch the video version.
It makes
Or watch live.
about as much sense as if you hear the joke. There's aloe behind me.
Does Quack look like an asshole? Put your answer in the comments. I hate when people do that in YouTube videos. Put your answer in the comments. It's like, I'm not going to fucking read that.
Our next question is from Dosey. What are you most proud of right now?
I mean,
The mullet joke, honestly. I'm still tickled to death.
like,
It was so good. Oh my god.
I'm most proud of my wife right now. She did 2 photo shoots for my son recently because he's turning 1, and she very much enjoys doing photography. She's very good at it. And both the shoots came out really, really well. The first one she did where the wild things are, and my mother crocheted the outfit from that for my son, and it looked really good. The weather was perfect. All the props were perfect. Actually, there were some people that thought that the pictures were an ad when they were posted on Facebook.
Oh, nice.
Pretty slick.
And then the second, being that my son's birthday is October 30th, we did a zombie cake So the cake is shaped like a brain. It's a red velvet cake with a bunch of, I don't know, red berry jam. I don't remember what kind of berries. But basically, his hair is just all askew, and it looks like he's got blood all over his face, and he's eating brains. So it came out really good, and I'm very proud of her. And she doesn't listen to the show, so you guys know I'm not just saying that.
Nice. I'm gonna go with myself at work. I was super nervous to start front of house training because I've always been like a kitchen manager. And last night was my first day in the front. I was managing the hosts, which just turned into managing basically the whole front of the house, and I killed it.
You killed the entire franchise?
Yes, exactly.
Well,
no, I was moving around, busting tables, like helping out people left and right, like getting things from the liquor closet, doing cash, like all the things all over the place. The only thing I didn't do is handle one of the customer complaints because I was doing something else and another manager handled it. But it went by. The night went by really fast and really smooth, and I enjoyed it. So stoked about that. Also, but proud thing for not me, I was a guest on Guardian Down podcast, and those guys are killing it. So shout out to Gator, Hazel, and Easy. Proud of you guys, doing good work.
I'm most proud of my hands right now.
There's another vigil bit for you.
Speaking of vigil bits, Nips, Admiral Nipples, as he's known around these parts, or Senior Nipples. If you, of the famed Potato Thumbs podcast, I was not stalling to remember their name. He wants to know, how is it that Albuquerque isn't a shitty city? Shouldn't it be? Now, I just have one question about Albuquerque. Other than, well, two questions. One, does it smell like warm root beer? And two, is everything that you guys eat spicy? Like, do you have to Tex-Mex every single food that you have? One of the other hosts of Potato Thumbs podcast has been posting pictures on Facebook of all the meals he's been eating there, and everything. He had freaking Tex-Mex waffles. So guys, chill out. You don't have to put chorizo and salsa on literally everything there. It's okay to.
You don't have to, but why wouldn't you?
Because sometimes my butthole doesn't want to be on fire.
Well, tell your butthole to suck it up. Well,
pucker up.
Not.
All right, I'm going to say
Pucker
this.
out.
If you go to visit a city where one of your friend lives, they're only going to take you to the cool spots. They're not going to show you the crap, If
So
you want to really find out for sure if Albuquerque is or is not a shitty city, go there alone and wander and experience it for yourself without the assistance of your friend who's only going to show you the good spots.
This is going to show my Midwestern, but why should Albuquerque be a shitty city? Am I missing something about it?
No, you don't. Let's educate you on Admiral Nips's tastes in cities. He hates every city that isn't Madison, London, or wherever he goes in Ireland that he goes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So,
especially though St. Louis, he hates St. Louis the most.
And if you don't understand the warm root beer reference, you don't listen to enough Weird Al.
I do. I got that one. Albuquerque.
Mm-hmm.
He gets his favorite snorkel stolen by a man with a flock of seagulls haircut.
Yeah. And we're getting confirmation in the chat right now from Grumpy Dumps that Albuquerque is in fact a shitty city. So there you go.
Well,
answered.
Or at least the surrounding area. That is it for listener questions, and I would like to reiterate for the third time that the opinions expressed on the podcast are our own opinions. If you disagree with our opinions, that's okay. That's why we live in this fantastic country. You can decide what you want to decide.
Funnily enough, we're allowed in this country to have freedom of thought and speech and say what we think.
So,
Excuse the hell out of me, boy. I thought this was America.
I know that
You ain't gonna tell me what to say, never.
that we did have some strong opinions on this show. Please, if you disagree, do not just berate us and tell us that we're wrong. We're going to respect that you have your own opinion, so we ask that you respect that we have ours.
If you are, just make sure you do it on Twitter for me, because then I can just block you right away, and I don't have to worry about it.
Yes, this is true. I can add you to the list of people that fucking suck.
I've got a shit list, and your name just got appended.
All right. I'm Detective Ben Malone. You can find me. I'm not going to tell you.
This is my address. Come tell me what you think.
You can find him at Admiral Nips on Twitter.
Yeah. You can find me at Burning Wing. Burning Jorts.
At Burning Jorts.
Yeah. My name is Fluffy Fingers MD. You can find me on Twitter at Burning Jorts. Steve, where can people find you?
You can find me at AKA GearDad on Twitter.
All right. Quack.
And I'm Quack, and you can find me at I Make 'em Quack pretty much anywhere on the internet. And I don't care about your opinion, so you can tell it to me, but I'm not like gonna listen or read it.
Yeah. Again, the band of the week is Old State. You can find them at oldstate.bandcamp.com, and also right after the show, you can listen to them.
Probably right now.
Yeah, it's probably playing as long as I don't take too long to say. May your Jeeps be dirty, your bunny hops be clean, and your disc throws long.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, let's do one more clap. 1, 2, 3. Well,
Yep. That was a good show, guys.
that was a lot of opinions.
It was. That's the point of this show, though. Like, if people are at this point, people listen. If they listen to this show, it's because they want our opinions on what's happening in the gaming industry.
Well, it just
You know,
it felt weird to start off by being like, if we have new listeners, welcome to the show, and then just be like, here's a bunch of strong opinions.
Well, if they don't like them, then I guess they're just gonna always stay a new listener.
Yeah.
We'll see what the numbers are next week.
Right. I mean, the numbers when we shit on Randy Pitchford were pretty good. So
Yeah. We need to also change the end. The Mayor Jeeps be dirty.
not yet. We'll do it after 150.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Quack. The plan is to have Scott on for 150,
Okay.
and then do a pass of the torch kind of thing, which he doesn't know about yet.
It's gonna be rough. It sucks that just the schedules are not gonna line up.
Yeah. Well, honestly, it's gonna be an easier conversation.
Oh, I'm
than-
still streaming.
Oh,